U.S. casts sole vote against Gaza ceasefire resolution. The U.S. veto at the UN came as the Biden administration's envoy in Lebanon reported additional progress on ceasefire talks in the war between Israel and Hezbollah. Biden agrees to supply Ukraine with anti-personnel mines. The decision is the latest in a series of moves by the U.S. and Russia that have escalated tensions between the two. What are anti-personnel mines? The Biden administration has agreed to send the weapons to Ukraine, despite their reputation for killing and maiming civilians. U.S. and Europeans moved to censure Iran for nuclear secrecy. Before Donald J. Trump takes office, the West wants to call out Iran for failing to adhere to treaty obligations to be transparent about its nuclear past and present. U.S. envoy will head to Israel, citing progress on Lebanon ceasefire. The envoy, Amos Hochstein, held a second day of talks in the Lebanese capital to seek a truce between Israel and Hezbollah. The militant group's leader said peace now depended on Israel. Ugandan opposition leader charged after being kidnapped in Kenya. Kizza Besigye, a former presidential candidate, went missing over the weekend as he visited the Kenyan capital, reappearing days later in military custody back in Uganda. U.S. pauses operations at Kyiv embassy. Warning of significant air attack. The unusual alert came a day after Ukraine used American-made ballistic missiles to strike Russian territory for the first time. At least 2 other Western embassies closed for the day after the warning. Vatican sets out new rules to simplify papal funerals. Pope Francis's down-to-earth style has become a trademark of his papacy. New rules for papal burials are another step to seal it into his legacy. Russia intensifies assaults on an exhausted Ukraine. Overextended Ukrainian forces lack manpower and artillery against Russian forces willing to absorb staggering casualties. Middle East Airlines has become an unlikely national hero in Lebanon. Middle East Airlines has managed to fly through regional and civil wars since the 1960s. And it is still in the skies today. Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai takes stand in national security trial. Jimmy Lai, who is charged with national security offenses, testified that his newspaper carried a torch to the reality of people's desire for freedom in the city. Smog in Pakistan smothers Lahore. Breaking a vibrant city's rhythms, Lahore comes alive at night. But this year's record onslaught of cold weather smog, residents call it the 5th season, has broken its rhythms. Long tied to Russia, Georgia's winemakers look to the West. Some vintners in the former Soviet Republic are seeking to break a politically risky dependence on Russia and focus more on high-value European and American markets. Putin lowers nuclear weapons threshold after U.S. allows Ukraine to use missiles against Russia. A decree signed by the Russian leader, though long planned, came days after President Biden authorized the use of U.S.-supplied missiles by Ukraine for strikes inside Russia. COP29 climate talks in Baku, Azerbaijan, are teetering. Western countries are confronting demands for trillions of dollars to fight climate change and to cope with its worsening effects.